Hang on. Oh, it is on time. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Innovation Stage. I'm Phil Middleton from the Insurance Network, and I'm going to do very little other than introduce Gary Burke, who is the chair for this session. It's a series of case study presentations. These are examples of technology in use in insurance, and we'll be having Adrian Blidarus from Encora, Glen Nixon from Eleks, Simon Parker and Dmitry from SoftHouse, and John Somerset Irving from V7. And I am actually delighted to tell you that is the last bit that I have to do for this session, because I'm handing over to Gary, and that's it.
Thank you, Phil, and hello everybody. Everyone can hear me okay? Yeah, great, thank you. Okay, so my name's Gary Burke, and I'll be chairing this session of the Innovation Stage, where we're going to hear 4 presentations, as Phil just mentioned. There'll be 15 minutes each. There'll be a 10-minute presentation talk, followed by 5 minutes Q&A. A bit flexible, but 15 minutes in total. For those of you who were in the keynote earlier, Phil was talking about the pre-event survey that was sent out and completed by attendees. And there are 5 themes that came out of that are shaping the strategic priorities across the UK insurance sector. And just to remind you of what they were, there's AI adoption, how to operationalize it, data integration and governance, legacy modernization, digital transformation at scale, and measurable business value, how to get that ROI. There was also a call for deeper insights into real-world use cases for AI. So, unsurprisingly, as this is the innovation stage, AI will feature heavily, and we'll hear about its use in service delivery in the London market, streamlining underwriting, triaging claims, as well as harnessing the power of an organisational digital twin. So, none of those you can possibly miss. So to kick things off, I'd like to introduce to the stage Adrian Blidarus, who's the President and Global Head of Insurance at Encora, and he'll be talking about using AI agents to redefine service delivery in the London market. So welcome to the stage, Adrian.
Hello, hi everyone. Well, I hope that works. Very nice to meet you here as well. This is my first time on a silent event. I've heard about this as music festivals, although I'm a bit too old for those kind of events. So I'm going to talk to you about. All right, this is going well. This is me, much younger than I was right now, and yes, I'm going to talk to you about the master plan and about multi-agent systems. So and what can we do with multi-agent systems actually to improve the customer experience, to actually enhance the digitization in the insurance sector, and also, last but not least, increase the gross written premium, because this is why we are all here. So if we don't have a top line, we cannot have a bottom line, and if we don't have a bottom line, our investors are not going to be very happy. So this is us, Encora, US-based company with centers all over the world. I would not dwell a lot on this. You can go on the website, or you can visit our booth, which is just right over there. So go left. These are some of our customers. Some of them are UK-based, some of them are European-based companies. So what am I going to talk to you about today? So why do we need agents, and how this agentic journey is starting? And here we are talking about some things that are making our lives let's say, more difficult in underwriting, whether it is manual processes. And the problem with manual processes is that, first of all, they are expensive. Secondly, they don't scale. So unless you get more people, you are not going to be able to get a larger volume. And last but not least, they break the customer experience, because these days the customers want Apple-like experience, and it means smooth. It means end-to-end digital. It means flawless, personalized, and so on. And whenever we have an event that is requiring, no problem, is sorry. So, but manual processes. There you go. So this is you are the customers. This is the customer experience. No, not a problem, because you are actually just making my point. So you have a manual thing that's going on. It actually interrupts everything, and people are waiting. So that's actually the essence of that. Well, siloed data. Well, I don't have to talk to you about siloed data because you all know it. So why do we have siloed data? Well, because we have silos. Why do we have silos? Because of the amount of legacy in insurance, and the fact that insurance is not necessarily, I hope that one is not coming here as well. So insurance is not necessarily trying to remove the legacy, but rather, build things around it. And I've been talking about customer expectations. So what can we do? So our vision is underwriting as software. So what does it mean, underwriting as software, or the concept of services as software? So you obviously probably heard about the software as a service kind of thing. There's a big difference between the two of them, because software as a service is just another way to provide you with software. Office 365. If guys are, some of you, I'm looking at you, you have some gray hair, just like me. And you remember when we were buying, Word licenses or Excel licenses. Well, right now we are renting them, and they are coming from a cloud. Well, services as software is a very different thing, because it is a business thing. So it's a business function that we are delivering as software. So it's a completely digitized or digital business process. So can underwriting actually be completely digitized, so we can have it as software, on-demand delivery out of the cloud or whatever, so from a platform or portal? And we think that it can, but it needs to have some tweaks. And still have 10 minutes. That's good. There are new business models, and in the insurance there is a race of tech-enabled MGAs. Because initially, everybody thought that they could be an insurtech, insurance companies, tech-backed, and then whatever. And most of the insurtechs actually realized that it's not easy. It's not easy to do all the compliance. It's not easy to do all the reporting to Lloyd's or God knows what other regulators and so on. And most of them actually started to give up their insurance licenses and become MGAs, because in the MGA world things are a bit easier. Last but not least, us as people, so we find all sorts of AI agents in our day-to-day life, and there is a bit of an apprehension. So I have a colleague of mine that is asking a lot of people, so what are you going to do if AI is going to take your job? And well, you get a lot of interesting answers. So some software developers are actually thinking about becoming electricians or laying tiles in the bathrooms or whatever. So, but there is an apprehension about this, because some of the jobs are going to be taken over by AI. And actually, software developers, I think they are not safe in this world anymore. And the shift is actually from people doing things to people actually orchestrating things and thinking about things. So this is what I call the gross written premium value chain, because this is not only about underwriting, because the whole process starts with marketing, prospecting, lead generation, whatever, right? So we have the guy that is working in lead generation using a CRM tool or not. He does some segmentation, so I want these companies with this kind of turnover working in this domain with blah, blah, blah. It creates marketing campaigns. Marketing campaigns are omni-channel these days. Well, some of them are at least. And it goes into the addressable market. Out of that addressable market, some people, companies are going to become prospects, and they are going to start the underwriting process, right? So via portal, via broker, submissions, manual submissions, automated submissions via digital channels. Usually, due to the manual submissions, we have a pre-underwriting team. Then the quote and bind process starts. Then the quote and bind process breaks because all of a sudden somebody triggered a referral condition or multiple referral conditions. Then the referral underwriting process starts, and finally, we got to the quote decision, and we got the policy. And yes, we get policies from other places as well because carriers always also work with delegated authority brokers, which are sending a bunch of files, hundreds of them. And there is somebody that actually take the information from that files and somehow they get into the policy admin system. Okay, this is the process as it is. Now, quite simplified. If you look at it, it lacks some things like, I don't know, payment processing, the feedback loop, the acceptance of the quote from the customer, because at some point the customer goes back through the whole flow, and so on. Now, do we want to keep anything from this? And actually, I think we want to keep some things, because some things are actually quite digitized. They have been digitizing in the past, 10 years. And we started to have end user portal, we have broker portals, we have API integrations, we have workbenches, underwriting workbenches that are digital, and we have the whole thing that actually can go on the happy path end to end. So I can hopefully, get into the end user portal, go to product capture, reselection, blah, 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 and get the policy at the end of it. Shit, I only have 5 minutes left. Now, what do we want to change? Okay. So, we think that there are some processes where human beings, the people that are working in there, could use some help, because they are doing a lot of research work, a lot of manual work, getting external data from data sources, trying to figure out, for instance, in the lead generation, which of the customers are in the buying behavior. And if they are in the buying behavior, how can I send them an indicative quote on that email, rather than send them a general email saying, okay, we are the ABC broker, and you should buy from us your mention insurance. Rich guy. Okay, so we can actually help that guy. We can also actually help the underwriter in processing the referrals. How can we do that? Well, looking at the historic decisions that have been made in there. And in our experience, we've seen, 40, 50, even 60% of the underwriting process, underwriting requests triggering referral decisions. And if we can actually decrease that from 60% to, 20%, with the help of co-pilots, then it's already a big gain. And I will go back to the underwriting, because underwriters in this world are becoming a very scarce resource here. So I don't hear about a lot of, graduates saying that, so what's your career path in this life? I want to become an underwriter. No, I want to become an influencer, right? So, and that's why, these guys are actually, there is a talent scarcity in there, okay? That is preventing insurers or brokers from scaling, because if this remains a manual process, right? And then what do we want to do? Well, we believe that some of these manual stuff can actually be replaced as it is right now with the level of technology, and we've done things like this. Okay, so replacing the whole submission flow with the agentic AI, we think it's possible. replacing even the call center stuff with the either a chatbot or intelligent chatbot or even somebody that picks up the phone and also replacing the bordereau processing, which is actually now how many people that go into an insurance company would say that they would love to do data typing in from Excel spreadsheets. So, okay. So how do we do this? Well, this is the prospecting copilot. We built something like this. It's actually quite cool, and it's using a lot of AI to predict things, like who needs to buy a policy in the next 3 months, or what is going to be the price of the policy for this guy, or things like that. It is helping because it's ultimately optimizing the go-to-market investment. So if you are putting the money in this process, you want the biggest bang for the buck, and this is actually something that is helping. Okay. Now, as I said, we can help the underwriters with a copilot, which sometimes can be agentic. I mean, can make decisions of its own. But at least we can give the underwriter the tools and the things that he needs actually to make the right decisions faster, because this is the thing. And right now we are talking about agentic AI. Agentic AI means that it can think independently and it requires very little or no human intervention. As I was saying, call center can be replaced, and the submission, because ultimately we are talking about extracting data from documents and from files, and this is not really a big deal. Okay. And it's the same with the bordereau thing. So these are the agents. So these are the processes. And we are saying that with some of them, we are going to do co-piloting, which means enhancing them, helping the people that are working in there. And here we are just going to replace them with the automated AI. Okay. And I thought that it would be cool to call the guys, the co-pilots. If you are a Star Trek fan, you recognize Riker and Spock. Well, we also have Margot that does bordereau, and Prescott that does pre-underwriting, and Priya, which is, from what I've heard in Sanskrit, means somebody that is really caring and loving, because she needs to talk to our customers, right? This is a multi-agent system, which means that people can talk to people, and also agents can talk to agents in there. So, and unfortunately, I think my time is up. So, questions?
Any questions?
I'm done.
Right, thanks, Adrian. Okay.
Right.
Apologies for the set change. You may not have noticed that. But does anybody have any questions for Adrian? Anything around like the obviously the use of agentic AI, or the areas where agentic AI is being the most interest, where the most interest is? Sorry, yeah. So we've got a mic. Thanks, Phil.
Unless you shout, I cannot possibly hear you from here. So, no, it's just I'm good.
Well, probably I can shout, but wouldn't.
You should probably.
Probably you wouldn't want it. Yeah, hi. I'm Kate from Solars.
Kate from Solars.
All right.
Sure. Can you hear me now? Perfect. Awesome. Okay, I'm Kate from Solars. I have a question because this looks very good, what you've been talking about. My question would be, is it the idea and the vision that you guys have and you will be building on it, or did you manage to implement some of it with your clients, and did you see it work?
Thanks for the question. So it's easier like this. Sorry. So yes. So all those bots are actually, they do exist, and believe it or not, we started building bots for the underwriting or for the prospecting thing. I think we started working on them in the COVID era. So, and over the time, we actually, what we did, we changed the technology, we made them more intelligent, and we added on. So, like, I think the last one is the bordereau processing, one that we have just piloted with a large insurer in the London market. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Adrian.
Yeah, I'll. If you want to have a chat, I'll just around the corner and get coffee as well.
Thank
you, guys.
Okay, while Phil is rearranging the set, the next presentation is going to be from Eleks, and so I'd like to introduce Glen Nixon, who will be talking about streamlining underwriting processes with AI. So, Glen, welcome to the stage, and all yours.
Sorry about the deceptive picture. No glasses on that one. Can you hear me okay? Right. Okay. So I'm going to, as Gary just alluded to, I'm going to be talking about how we've applied AI to an aspect of underwriting and also to improve not necessarily customer experience, the customer and the application, i.e. the analysts themselves. So as you know, underwriting, high stakes business, and one of the things at the moment that is perfectly obvious is the level of manual processing that goes on in that environment. This particular client of ours, who I can't divulge today, they basically wanted to improve their analyst experience, at the same time remove errors from the process itself, such that they could then get their people focusing on the higher value aspect of the analysis. So they want to streamline that statement consolidation, such that the underwriters have accurate and real value from the financial information on the potential client, improve productivity, eliminate errors, which obviously with a manual situation is very prominent, and spend less time on admin and more on high value information processing. Just imagine if you had to do that. Yeah, you've got 41 different subsidiaries that you're having to look at. You want to know whether everything's accurate, because we all, as a big company, there'd be no problems. We all remember Enron, don't we? Yeah, so things can go awry. So this could take weeks just to produce one report. Straightforward, you think? Get the financial documents together, look at those documents from the point of view of taking the data that's in there, standardize it, ensure it's all right, ensuring there are no errors in the cross-check, ensuring beneficiaries are right, income statement. 5 days is not unusual. So we thought, how can we apply AI to this in a way that's going to improve things? So we use the Azure services, Copilot, AI Builder, Power Apps from an interface point of view. All the analyst now has to do is upload the files, no matter what their format, whether it be Excel, whether it be PDF, whether it be doc, doesn't matter. The AI then processes those documents through the point of view of taking the data, standardizing it, putting it in a format that it can interpret, and then it consolidates it. If it notices any errors or any ambiguities, it prompts the analyst for information. What should I do with this? So the human's still in the loop. It's not fully automated from that point of view. So the likelihood of getting errors from an AI making an error is pretty low. It's designed and built for security and flexibility, adaptability, really. So the security aspects, obviously, it's enclosed in the Microsoft cloud. That's secure in its own right. But from the point of view of data, there are situations where the data could be, from the point of view of PII, for example, and you don't want to be sharing that. There's confidential stuff you don't want to share with an LLM. However, obfuscation's not enough. You obfuscate things and put that, you're taking away the context that the LLM needs. So we developed an interim step whereby all that type of data is replaced with data that keeps the context, but is meaningless as far as the outside world is concerned. So the process now, all the data's aligned from different formats. Validation flags errors and inconsistencies, as I mentioned. The system asks for clarification. So yes, it's automated, but there is a manual step if needed. And the output is clean, unified financial statements. 4 days down to 2 hours. The ROI was very clear straight away. Accuracy, as I say, it's guided, so the errors have virtually disappeared. You get to faster decisions. You're providing the information to the right people at the right time as quickly as possible. And the analysts themselves have a better work experience. So as far as the company was concerned, it delivered in 3 months. We had a team of 5 people on it, and all the goals that they set for us, we achieved. And that can be done. This is one of the things about applying AI. It's really using it in an area where you think there could be benefits and then go ahead and try it. But you have to go ahead and try it. You can't do everything theoretically. So, faster, more accurate, and the improved UX for the employer. Better decisions from a business perspective. So, that was all I have for you.
It's all right. Short and sweet.
Yes.
Questions? Actually, do you want to put some headphones?
Oh, right, okay.
Otherwise you won't hear them. So, questions from the floor.
Hi, is it Glen? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a question about the data sources that go into the normal 5-day process. If it's a human collecting data, authenticating the origin of that data, then feeding it into tables and analysis.
Mm-hmm.
If that's being replaced, that intake of data, how are you sure that the right data is being inputted? And the reason I asked the question, I read an article in the last couple of days about we're in an era where data has been processed by algorithms and is now available to be reprocessed and reprocessed. And so your sort of data sources after 2022 onwards could have been augmented by another GPT. How do you ensure the accuracy and the quality and authenticity of all the data sources?
Okay, so I'm going to take this off. Well, the data that goes into this process is fundamentally where it's manual. So there are documents. Yes, and they're then fed in. The LLM itself is not using that data to train itself. We pre-trained it ourselves. So it's not, from a processing point of view, the data is extracted before it goes into the LLM. So it's not going to be using data from years ago.
Your LLM. It's your LLM. Yeah. Sorry. It's your LLM.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so other questions? No, as you're on that point, so the data used to train the LLM, that's done, and the data used for the processing is just processing, and it's not.
Yeah, we had to pre-train. Yeah, we pre-trained it. So from that point of view, there is still an amount of training going on to train the LLM itself, but it's not using public data. So it is pre-trained, but it's trained specifically for this application as well.
Okay, and when you've been talking to your clients, have you need to talk more. Okay. Oh, okay. So when you've been talking to your clients, how their concerns have been around the security of data? How have you kind of alleviated any concerns that they've had about say data security? Obviously, because that's kind of slowly present out there.
As I mentioned, we have the ability to take the electronic data when it's been converted in a way that we can change the content of the data in such a way that we don't lose the context. So in other words, you're not replacing names with crosses. You're not taking dates out and putting crosses in. You're not obfuscating in that way, but you maintain the context of the data, so it still have meaningful. How do you describe it? Well, it still is meaningful for the LLM itself. So when it then processes that and then feeds the output, you've maintained the context all through the process, as opposed to if you obfuscate, lose the context, ultimately the LLM will start making errors and start inventing things which you don't want. Okay.
And I guess it's kind of so identifying the data items that you need to apply that to is quite critical.
It is critical. Again, the piece of software that we have to do that, this adapter, is actually it's AI in itself. It actually can look at that and go, yeah, I need to change that. It recognizes the date, I need to change that. It recognizes the name, I need to change that. That sort of thing.
Okay, thank you. Other questions? We've got time for a couple more questions. No? Okay. Right. Glen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, just an unnoticeable set change. I think Phil's going to do a costume change as well. Or was that's for next year? Is it doing a costume change as well?
No costume changes.
No costume changes, just set changes. Okay, so now, thank you. As you can see, we're going to hear from SoftHouse Group. We're going to hear from Simon Parker and Dmitry Sergeev about harnessing the power of an organisational digital twin. So looking forward to this one. So Simon, welcome. Oh, sorry, that was...
Oh, now we've gone too far already. Hello, everyone. So my grandfather, he was born in 1904. And he joined Sun Life Insurance after school. And he worked there his entire career before retiring in 1968. And one of the last projects he saw was the implementation of an ICT computer system. That was ICT, not ICL. It became ICL afterwards. Tape storage, tabulating machines, punch cards. And he was proud, and he was rightly proud, because it changed the way Sun Life worked forever. But basically, we've been doing legacy migration ever since. And some things are great. We've migrated to the cloud, the servers are fast, the storage is reliable, we don't have to do our own maintenance. And over time, we've improved things like access management, identity management, and services like claims automation, AI, all these sort of things coming in. And that's not even to mention the low-code, no-code solutions that are coming through, AWS and others. But other things are still not so great. We still get lots of functional duplication from the cloud hosts where things are overlapping. The old technology stacks are still with us. An end-to-end deployment from carrier to client still has a lot of handoffs. So there's a lot of work to be done. And it's all creating a barrier to getting the most out of our tech. And it didn't really used to matter if you had the latest software revision level. Didn't really used to matter if you were running the latest Pentium chips or not. And it didn't really matter if your data was here and there, as long as you could get to it in the end. But now it really does matter. Companies running outdated software stacks are more vulnerable to cyber attack. McKinsey estimates 2025 loss from cybercrime, 10 trillion. That's global hit. But one firm, one mid-sized firm with a serious breach, it's still a £4 million recovery process. So your legacy technology is going to cost you money one way or the other, and you may as well spend it on deploying your strategy. There are fantastic new solutions out there, but you can't run a 2025 strategy on a 2015 landscape. So what if you had something that could look inside your legacy challenge and help you work out how to get from here to where you want to go? What if you had a full-on navigation system instead of just a roadmap? I'm here to talk to you about Coyote 360, the organizational digital twin. And this isn't just the story about tech. It isn't just about process optimization, process mining, IT portfolio management. We already have great tools for those. This is where people, processes, and systems get together with business strategy, and they meet and align and cover all the bases in between. So the organizational digital twin is where IT and business really meet. So we've all heard of digital twin before. A digital twin is a digital copy of something, like a jet engine. So you can monitor its performance in real time as it's flying around the skies. You track its flight hours, you plan its maintenance, and you order spare parts up front. With SoftHouse Coyote 360, we create a digital twin of your organization's IT assets, as expected, but then we keep it going, and we build it all the way up to your organizational capabilities and strategic objectives. The twin, once you've got it finished, that's when your AI solutions really kick in, and I'll tell you more about that at the end. So the case study I'm presenting and that we will present today is based on a large financial services company based out of Canada. We worked with them at a time when they had made 50 acquisitions. High growth, high complexity, high IT portfolio cost. And the CIO's team was basically absorbed by housekeeping. They weren't able to integrate the acquisitions, and they really weren't able to stabilize the landscape and start delivering new solutions. So we were introduced to the CIO team, not as strangers, but as trusted advisors, because our track record speaks for itself. We've done this before at a similar scale. The CIO was eager to see if we could do the same for him. So what we did a fractional decomposition of their entire landscape, some 2,700 separate tech capabilities, significant overlap and duplication. Every product or organization that acquired had its own version of every process. So KYC 50 times. And they had to put it together. But also there were some gaps. Add to that the 50 tech products, all built on different technologies and all built on programming approaches that was not the same. So together with the client, we managed to take those 2,700 capabilities down to just 600. All of it being called by multiple business processes, and we're saving overall some 20 million Canadian dollars on recurring annual TCO. And that's just the financial result. It's not all. This company was able to restructure its operations. They were called D&H at the time. They merged with Misys and became Finastra. So you've heard of Finastra. It's a global player in financial services. The CIO, he's now on my advisory team. So there we have it. So let me show you how this digital twin works. And here I'm going to pass over to my global CEO, Dmitry Sergeev.
Thank you.
And founder of the digital twin.
Thank you so much. All right, so the twin is the multi-dimensional database, and we're always starting to build it using the high level, which is capabilities and business strategy related data points here. I know that it's not easy to read. Simon tells that it's not for the human eye, but we're just trying to show you the data structure here, okay? As soon as it's ready, we're coming to the next layer of organization, which is business processes, functions, roles, and definitely departments. And after that, we're coming down to the systems. And by the way, this model represents 1/10 of the real insurers, right? The portfolio is significantly bigger. So as soon as we model the application and data layer into the twin, we're coming down to the infrastructure, and you see the complexity is growing. And I would like to emphasize once more, this is only 10% of the real organization, okay? And as soon as it's ready, we come into the target organization, and we do the model of the target one. On the right side, you may see, by the way, this particular scenario is for the acquirer, who is the carrier in Canada, and NGO. So when two models are ready, the question becomes, how can we analyze two factors? The cost saving, obviously, and the second one is risks related to that. And using the DTO, we do back-to-back comparison. For instance, this particular analysis shows how we compare departments by headcount of both organizations. Then we're going further and comparing the systems and systems resource allocations between two organizations via business function. And then the last but not least, we're coming to the risk evaluation here. You may see that we're analyzing, in this particular example, just two risks, but in real life, the portfolio of the analysis that covers over 50 different disciplines, including cybersecurity, compliance, you name it. But in this particular scenario, we analyze talent risk and post-merger integration risk score for every single application that both organizations having in their portfolio. And then on the right side of the table, you might see the potential of improvement or potential of cost savings. So as soon as system does this analysis, we can provide the executive quite clear view of the plan of attack. It means which capability they can put in the high priority of the post-merge integration plan. And on this particular screen, you might see the future state of the organization. So this is post-merge stage after all optimizations. And then the red marks, we have a capabilities, processes, roles, and systems, obviously, that will be modified and help organization to save costs and operational effort. And post-merge plan, one of the projections that we have in the portfolio can be looking this way. So we provide a set of initiatives and projects to the board level of organization that helps them to understand the sequence of steps that need to be taken according to the risks and operational savings. I believe this is the final one. Yes, Simon, go ahead.
So thank you, Dmitry. My name's Simon Parker. I'm the co-CEO of SoftHouse Group. Came here with several members of our tech team, and we're ready to take your questions. Once you've seen the system, let's add a little couple of cherries for you now. We started using the digital twin long before the AI revolution. Customers can find benefits from the digital twin itself, but we've since found that the digital twin data set is a perfect gold mine for AI. And what my tech team is really excited about is they're creating things like compliance agent. So NS2 agent or DORA agent that is giving you a real-time sonar of your global landscape and highlighting issues that could be coming up. We have the only red stand out on the main call. There we go. And we're ready for Q&A. Thank you so much.
Simon, Dmitry, thank you. Okay, fascinating stuff. I'm sure there's questions. Who's got one? Where do we need to put the mic?
We need to listen.
Okay, question, mic at the back, please. Thank you.
I assume everything we've seen on the screen there is clickable and you can drill down and it's a living model?
Absolutely. That can be used also as a perfect tool for the organizational knowledge management, because every single data point is related to the set of knowledge and data which is relevant to that. For instance, if we're talking about the business process, it relates to the system that can be perfectly documented through the digital twin. Yeah.
And then as the organization changes over time, you can keep it up to date, and it will act as a very good planning tool, I guess.
Absolutely, yes. Great question. We have mechanics and processes on our end to maintain the data up to date.
Thank you.
Okay. Further questions? Okay, I've got one actually. And so you said this was developed before AI. Are there any? You mentioned compliance as a compliance agent as one. But are there any specific areas where you're finding interest? Now we are living kind of with AI, or is it across the board?
Yeah, sure. AI is a hot topic today, and this is what makes us building the AI scanner of the organization. What I mean by that is every single role can be optimized using the AI. But organizations, especially big ones, have not enough understanding what needs to be prepared, or in other words, how those roles AI ready today. So that's the idea of the scanner, and that's the idea of the analysis that we're going to publish really soon. On the other side, the knowledge management is a big topic because every single transformation needs knowledge. And we all know that the decision-making process is delayed in time inside the organizations because of the absence of knowledge. So that's another area which is hot today. This is what we see in the North America and here in Europe.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Any questions before we wrap up this session?
Yep.
Last
Actually,
question.
I've got one is fine. So possibly two quick questions. So one is, how does this actually work in practice? How long does this take for you to create a copy of an organization? And is it a metadata scan that you're doing in a lineage presentation? And then my second question was, is your UI that Power BI that you showed?
Yeah, so great question. So basically we have three sets of tools to collect and maintain data up to date. Obviously, we're talking about the systems like CMDBs or application portfolio management ones, but also we're talking about digestion, the documentation that organization has today via AI agents and constantly supplement that data into the model.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's great. Simon, Dmitry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, for our final session, which you really don't want to miss. Okay, that didn't dissuade them from leaving. I'd like to welcome John Somerset Irving, who's the head of the insurance practice at V7. Where's John? Oh, yeah, fine. Okay, and we're going to hear about a use case about leveraging GenAI to assess and triage insurance claims. No, we're not. Yes, they are. You're lead at the front. Technical issue? Who knows? Well, at least we got the set sorted out, so that's good. Oh. This is just to build tension and excitement because this session is going to be that good.
We didn't know that this was on a map. Okay, sorry. Is that a video? Can we get that video and need to get it? Can you open a link?
So there's definitely a technical hitch. And all the presentations we've heard, the suppliers have stands outside, so please do go find them and ask further questions, and they will be able to show you more. Phil.
So I'm really sorry about this. It's actually, believe it or not, to do with the fact that we can't play from a Mac. Something to do with the venue has put a restriction on the use of Macs. So if you're a shareholder in Apple, do you want to have a word with Convene about that? And if you will, just bear with us a couple of minutes. I'm hoping we can find a workaround. Okay, so just give us a couple of seconds.
And this is a great little example of technology and assumptions, isn't it? It's all lovely when it works, but things can crop up left field and rather snooky. But say a couple of minutes and we'll be back with you. Oh, we've got a thumbs up from the back. So it looks like we are on. Maybe. Okay, so sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we have John Somerset Irving from V7. Thank you, Phil, who will be talking about a use case for leveraging GenAI to assess and triage insurance claims. So obviously that was slightly premature because it looks like it's not quite mic'd up yet.
I'm afraid the microphone has now run out of batteries. This is analog technology, you see.
Oh, can you hear me?
No, this is the tension in the room now. So, John, I hope you're prepared to make this amazing.
Maybe.
Cool. Excellent. Right.
Can you hear me?
John Somerset Irving. Yes, we can.
Oh, amazing. There we go. Sorry about that. I better speed run this now. Right. Hello, everyone. My name's John. I lead the insurance practice at V7. I'm going to do this very, very fast. So if you want to see it in more detail, come find me later on. That'll be great. I've got a lot to show them. Who are V7? V7 are a 7-year-old AI company. Our background is in being the market leaders in the world of computer vision model development, deep AI research, deep tech, all of that cool stuff, working to solve problems like detecting cancer from MRI scans and building nefarious models for Meta and all those kinds of wonderful things. But about 2 years ago, we made the move into knowledge work automation and how we apply generative AI models and LLMs and all that rising technology to a more business application type thing. And so we launched a product called V7 Go in April last year, and fundamentally allows us to go with this vision, this tagline. We believe in a future where AI takes care of all the work you don't want to do. And we think you should start today. Now we're going to see if my mouse... Oh, yes, I'm doing this on my knee. This is great. Quite frankly, models are good enough now that there is no reason why 40% of the work in any organization cannot be automated. And if not automated, at least augmented. As an organization, we are not an insurance technology provider. We are completely horizontal. We work in financial services. We work in insurance. We work in legal. We work in logistics. We work in real estate. Insurance is behind all of those currently, catching up from the dark ages. But all these wonderful companies here, there they are. There you go. These are just some of the companies we work with. So everything from powering McKinsey's client work to doing legal reviews for Pinsent Masons and various other bits in the healthcare space. Fundamentally, what I'm going to show you applies to every single kind of operation. But for some reason today, I chose to focus on pet insurance claims, which is a really nice use case. Phil said to me, show them a use case that's real world. So this is what we're going to look at today. Insurance claims triage. It is pet insurance, just because that's fun and everyone knows what that is. But this is real world. This is live. This is deployed in a claims TPA, actually. Fundamentally, I want you to focus on that number at the bottom. 200x return here. This is a process where they went through with their claims handlers, received a bunch of claims files, first notification of loss, an invoice, patient history. We're going to call them patients, even though they're pets. It's just easier for me. And it took them about 5 hours to do the initial triage on that. So that was reviewing all the history documentation, reviewing the invoices, comparing that to policy exclusions, comparing that to what's a suitable treatment for the right claim condition, doing all this kind of stuff, ultimately just getting them to a position where they can make a decision on how to pay that claim or not, or what to pay within that claim. So just the triage element of it. We said, that's stupid, don't do that. We got things that can do that for you now. And so in about 3 hours, this workflow was built, delivered as a proof of concept to them. It was deployed live in their environment in about 5 days, I think. This connects into their claim system. And what does it look like? Let's go over here. This was going to look a lot better, but I'm on a Windows machine now. Okay, let's hide who they are. Let's not do that. I was actually going to get them to come and do this for you, but they've got an internal audit today, so they can't come. Right, this is V7 Go. This is fundamentally a very boring thing to look at. Fundamentally, what we're looking at here, every row within this is going to be a new claim coming in. Every column is either going to be an input or an output or an interrogation or an analysis that forms part of this agent that we've built out for them. This is designed to be a headless engine operating in the background. So this particular environment doesn't look very pretty. It's not how you're designed to work in it. But if we remember, our original goal was to produce a triage summary that can provide that claims handler with all the information they need to proceed with this claim. And that's going to be what we get to in a moment. So we've got documents coming in. You know, what have we got here? A history from the vet, probably an invoice of what's being paid, a policy wording that's been pulled out from somewhere else, along with an FNOL out of their claims portal, which is this claims part, this XML bundles. It doesn't matter what it is. These are document sources. These documents could be anything. Could be absolutely anything. Doesn't matter at all. We categorize them very simply. And then we want to do some basic extraction of data just to understand what we're working with. The way V7 works is we choose the operation we want to be doing. I want a text extraction here. I choose the model I want to be using to power this. But we'll go through some of this stuff in a bit more detail in a moment. And just like you would in ChatGPT, I write a prompt. I write a simple natural language prompt to get what I want. I could ground this data so I could see it back in the document if I wanted to, et cetera, but let's not worry about that. We're doing some basic extraction across the front. No, nothing exciting there, nothing new. But then what we want to do is something a bit more interesting. Let's actually go and get those policy exclusions for this policy that is that particular client's coverage. So again, I use a decent model that can reason on these things, and I say, go look at that document that we've previously classified as a policy. I presume that's what that filter is. It is, amazing. And here's a JSON output, because I'm actually, remember, this is headless, so it's not for human reading. This is for structured data ingestion I'm going to reference down the line. So I want a JSON output. That's totally native in the application. Here's my prompt. Give me the exclusions. Right. Oh, my God. Come on. That's what that looks like. It's not very exciting. Don't worry about it. Next thing I want to do, let's take those claim items that they're looking at. I want to extract this as a table of information. So I want to do a collection or a subtable here. I'm going to get a simple input, which is just the invoice in this case. And I've written a nice prompt. And I've said the headers that I want out of this. That's this invoice, for example. Easy stuff. Data extraction. Nothing new so far. Okay, so we've got that data out. Now we're going to do something a bit more interesting. We're going to get this agent to go back and cross-reference those policy exclusions we just extracted, use that as an input along with the line items and the description of the claimed things in the invoice, and determine, are any of these claimed for items potentially excluded under this policy? Now, because we're talking in pet insurance here, a lot of it's to do with blood tests and all kinds of stuff. But this could be anything. Applications we see in motor insurance all the time, home insurance all the time. Simple things like this. We're then going to act like a vet and say, because these models are smart enough to act like a vet now, they're incredibly well trained, and basically say, look at the items that are here. Is this the correct treatment for this particular claimed piece here? In this case, you'll see in this random claim I clicked into, yes, they're all good, but some of these are actually excluded items. I think this one's because routine blood tests are excluded, et cetera, et cetera. And we get a simple tag, yes, no, should this be payable or not? Okay, so we've done initial triage on the invoice. Let's do something similar with the history, for example, now. I want to go into that history document and effectively extract every time this animal's been to the vet. I want the visit, the condition, the date, and the reason they went. Very good, all extracted. I get a nice history. It's going to look something like that. Wi-Fi is not bad in here. Very good. So that's our history sorted. Now I'm going to do some actual reasoning. So now I'm going to use the power of these foundation models to say, okay, now we've got our, oh, this is going to be hard to do. Ooh. Now we've got our extracted history. We know every time this animal's been to the vet, and we know everything about the condition that they're currently presenting with. Here's a slightly more sophisticated prompt to go and say, right, now go and reason if any of these historical injuries or items or illnesses or whatever this animal had, is it related to the current condition they're claiming for? Take it a step further and say, but ignore everything that's like very, very recent and definitely part of the same claim. Again, simple natural language to do that. I get a nice little output that says, yeah, this one is, oh, actually, this one's kind of interesting. This one's maybe, which is quite fun. They've had, doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter, but we get our reasoning. Again, none of this is the output we're trying to get to. I do a quick little check to determine whether it thinks this is for review or whether it's pre-existing or new condition. I could send for review items down a human pathway. I could send excluded items down a human pathway, whatever it might be. Ultimately, I want to get to something like this, where I'm able to use a little bit of Python in the application directly and say, bundle this stuff together, format it nicely for me, and output this claim summary for me. And this is the type of thing that now appears in the claim system of the claims handler the minute they log in the morning. They get, what was the total claim amount? This is what we think is payable. This is why. These are the details. This is our pre-existing condition assessment. These are the exclusions we've identified. These are the excesses applicable. And here is our recommendation on how to proceed. This has saved them hours and hours and hours of very boring work. It is not complex work. It is not difficult work. But it is mind-numbing, repetitive, and follows a logical process. And any application or any workflow within any business that follows a logical, repeatable process, it can be very, very complex. It can be very simple. Simple is easier, but it can be very, very complex. You can do this stuff. Now, that being said, you may also want to take this a step further and start interrogating this on the fly. So if I quickly do something here, oh, go on, click that button. Yes, start a case. So, man at the back, can you type in, analyze this claim? Please. I don't know why I'm shouting. He's got his headphones on. Minor. No, dude, don't have to spell it right. That's fine. Yeah, that'll work. That's fine. Don't worry about it, Phil. We'll work it out. Models are clever. Right, so just bear with us a second. This is now going to run. There we go. So it's off and running. It's now running this agent against that specific workflow we just created, and it's also able to output in a chat type thing you want, a co-pilot type thing, whatever. But this is a co-pilot that is built specifically on the agent that we've just built. So it knows the context. Models work brilliantly when they know the context of what you want, and they know the specific task you want them to achieve. That way you're avoiding hallucinations all over the place. Don't worry about it. And you'll see here it's run that for me. Now I could, if I had my laptop here, I'd ask a follow-up question. But I'm not going to bother now because he told me I've only got 10 minutes and I've already been 10 minutes. So with that in mind, that was a nice little run through. If you want to see something that isn't pet insurance related and can be anything from underwriting, submission, ingestion, loss run, triaging, SOV manipulation, bordereau transformation, risk engineering analysis, complex claim analysis, motor vehicle claim analysis, whatever you want to do, come and see me over there and we'll have a chat about it. But that's it. I'm done.
Thank you, John. God, that was a whip through, wasn't it?
You said I had 10 minutes.
Absolutely. Questions? No questions.
No questions.
No time for questions. Right, so whereabouts is your stand?
Right there.
Over there. Over here. One.
Oh, even better.
Right, very impressive. How connected do my systems have to be for this to actually work, for you to be able to integrate it in the 3 hours, then deploy it in 5 days? Follow-up question, are you going to change the company name to V8 when you hit 8 years?
Fair enough. First question. I mean, the systems are all different. If broadly speaking, if you have any form of API connectivity within your systems, then it's fine. So we have a very robust API in the background. We also use API and Mango to do like out-of-the-box deployments on connectivity. We've also worked with enough systems now that we just have some out-of-the-box ready to go in the claims world and the underwriting world. But broadly speaking, if there is an API available, it can listen to a webhook. We can publish a payload to a webhook and it can ingest it. And the V7 actually relates to the 7th visual cortex. It's not my company, it's not my name.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, of course. Okay, thank you, John.
That's right.
So all these companies are out there with stands. So thank you to Encora, Eleks, SoftHouse Group, and V7.
No, it worked.
And
You made it.
Thank you very much to Gary for chairing. Thank you very much indeed. And we're going to go straight into the supplier spotlights. And the first supplier spotlight is TINtech OS. So if I could welcome Scott to the stage, it is time for supplier spotlights.
Oh, there you are.
Is it just a green for the ride?
Yeah, just give it a second. Give it a second. Look how smart. We're going to get rid of this. You don't want that.
There's nobody left.
Everyone's gone? No. Hey?
Just had a good chat with your.
All right.
colleague.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you reckon?
Well, it was 6 weeks before I disappear out of the organisation, but I think we need to get you.
Yeah, Rob, can you hear me? You can, loud and clear. Are we ready to go? This is the biggest audience I've ever talked to. Can't wait. Go on then. Yeah.
Right, sorry about the slight manual nature of the changeover, but I am now welcoming Scott Thompson to the stage from TINtech OS, who is the first of our series of supplier spotlights this break.
Over to you, Scott.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? Show of hands, who's heard of TINtech OS? More? Yeah. 2 hands. So, I'm Scott Thompson. I'm one of the UK insurance solution directors. Look, I've only got 3 minutes, so I'm going to be super quick. From all the years I've been doing this, as you can see, getting grey, putting on a little bit of weight. I've been around a few times. So, as I've walked through all of my life, I'm still seeing there's still a huge trust gap, right? This is not just for insurers when they're building products. This is also the trust for customers and when an insurer is building a product. There's a huge gap between what customers expect they're going to get
and what insurers think software suppliers like us are going to build for them. So what I'm here to do in 2 minutes is basically reduce that gap, okay? TINtech OS is a cloud-native operational system, policy, billing, claims, document management, low code, no code. You've heard all of these terms before, but what we are, we're super quick, we're super slick, and what it means is for large carriers, MGAs, brokers, we give the ability for you to build products very, very quickly. We don't necessarily need to begin huge partnerships that are expensive. We hand it over to the organizations to start building themselves. Okay? How do we do that? The way in which we struggle is, look, we're not a legacy platform. We're a modern platform. The way we've constructed is, number one, TINtech OS, and everything we do, when we build products, we build pricing, everything's API-led, everything. But what we do is, we decouple everything. So if you're going to build a product with TINtech OS, and you want to build a code to bind, you can use your current system if you want to, and you can connect to our product. We do all of the rating, we do all of the document management, we do FNOL, we do claims. It's all separate components. And because everything's API-led, we can hook into current systems. Okay? So for example, if you've got a huge system of record like a Guidewire, we can build our product, we can do claims, we can still integrate with Guidewire. This is what we do. Everything's decoupled. One thing I would like to say, if you've got time and the speed to build this, what we're super keen on is we've got hackathons, we've got boot camps. We will invite you in with your data. We will build you a product in a matter of days that will be an MVP. This is what we encourage you to do. So I've only got a couple of seconds left. Please come and see us at our stand. Talk to us. We'll show you what the product looks like. But more importantly, and I'm wearing them today, come and get a pair of TINtech OS socks. They're really good. Don't wash them, they'll fall to pieces. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. Well done. Good timekeeping. And with no further ado, I'd like to welcome to